Tapestry rulers are on the screen and I will guide you through.
Well, if I was in that, we'll do that. Give me your hand and this hold it for a little while, let that divine energy, and let your mind go, yes, this is our world, this is our globe. And we're going to do this each Sunday for a while. So a way of allowing our consciousness to realize that, you know, the energy that we have within us is not limited. It's not stuck right here. It's not stuck in here. It's not stuck in this room. It is an energy that can spread out not only around the globe, but around the universe. So we're going to start this. And Ray, do you want to start it, or you want to concentrate on what you're... And then, you know, if somebody's not handy, you know, just kind of pick it up and gently pass it on when you're ready to do that.
Thank you very much, Reverend Carol. That's a wonderful idea, and thank you.
Well, we thank Judy for reminding us that
it's
a very powerful process to do.
Wonderful idea, wonderful. All right. It's wonderful to see you all here at UNB on the mountain. Are you still full from eating too much of Thanksgiving? Don't say a word. Okay, let us proceed to our opening statement. Will be- There is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God the Good. This beautiful candle is our Christ candle, which truly represents that inner divine Christ essence within each and every one of us. Let us affirm together our vision and mission statements. Centered in God, we inspire spiritual transformation, creating a world of love, peace, and prosperity. We are an inclusive spiritual community, inspiring, awakening, and serving in love. Now we come to the children's blessing. And we are blessed with a handsome young man back there and youth, our precious youth, and our young people. And this is for all of them, all the babies, the teenagers, the tweeners, all our precious young people around the world, and those special to us in our own lives. May we love you, we bless you, we behold the Christ in you. We accept you just the way you are. Walk in beauty, you are divine.
We're going to go ahead and stand up and sing a song. It's in your red book. If you do want to follow along in the red book, but the words will also be on the screen. It's 118, 118, 118 in the red book if you'd like to follow along there. God speaks to me in accents sweet and tender. His promise comes through life to be my guide. In passions free and pleasant paths to lead me. With rest and shade, the quiet stream beside takes me to thee, O ever-loving Father. For all my wants, thou dost for I provide. Hold on a second. I think it's just, last time it was just this. Try. Okay. Try. Second verse. We're just like, okay, we can't deal with that. Ah, there we go. God speaks to me, His voice so magnificent, that is uncalled. Sorry, hold on. To tread a shadow lane. I'll fear no ill, His rod and staff sufficient.
This is a focus of unity, prayer. Prayer that is in here, in our hearts and minds, prayers that people have written down and placed in this box. You know, sometimes the purpose of prayer is to help us organize our thoughts. What are we opening to God for? What is our concern? And sometimes writing that down helps. So we're focusing on that blessing of God, of knowing the truth of all that is, that divine power resides in each situation, in each person who is being represented here, and we open our own hearts, whatever concerns that we have within our own lives, our own situations, and with all those that we love. And looking out into our world, looking into that which is close to home. O Spirit, we ask for thy light to shine in the hearts of those who are in anger and in pain, those who have been bereft, those who are in illness. And we know that divine power of God serves as we allow it to move in and through us. And for this we give our grateful thanks. Amen.
Thank you.
And I think the daily word comes next.
Yes.
So what a great word, faith, to follow right on, focusing on prayer. Faith. With faith, I first believe and then I see. I first believe, then I see. I see. It is not always moving forward. Faith is blind when we begin. But then I see. It is no longer blind. Some say seeing is believing. But my spiritual self first believes, then sees. Faith does not require that I know all the steps to take before I begin my journey. I pray with faith, then open my mind and heart to guidance. When children write letters to Santa Claus, they hope their wishes will come true. My belief is greater even than that of a child. With grown-up faith, I turn within and listen. The answers I receive may be chance encounters, unexpected opportunities, or exciting new ideas. My faith is confirmed every day. I follow through on my guidance. As I am led, I act. I put feet under my prayers. First, I believe, then I see. And from Mark 10:52, Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has made you well." Immediately he regained his sight and followed him on the way.
Thank you, Reverend Carol. Now is the time for us to still clear and still our minds and our laps and prepare ourselves to say our precious Lord's Prayer together.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
So I invite you now just to relax into the pew. And let's focus on our breath this morning. You know, we cannot lead with cannot live without breath. The intake of oxygen is vitally important to this body system. But in order to first breathe in, we have to be willing to let go of the breath that we're holding in our body. So breathe out, release it, and then through the nose, gently bring in the refreshing air. If you're willing, hold it to a count of 3 or 5, and then release it out your mouth. And repeat that several times as we increasingly relax and allow ourselves to be here now. So on the intake, let us hold this thought. I breathe in the very life that is God. I breathe in the very life that is God. Breath is life. God is life. And that life force comes to us when we recognize it, acknowledge it, and call it into ourselves. If you have felt not fully alive here lately, if you need to be invigorated with the life force energy, then may the force be with you, as the movie says. And bring in that life force with this affirmation. I breathe in the very life that is God. And on the next breath, hold on to this affirmation. I breathe in the very love that is God. I breathe in the very love that is God. The nature of God is love. Our nature is love. And even though there are times when we do not feel loving towards others or even ourselves, we know that our true nature is love. And so we gently remove anything that doesn't feel or look like love in our life as we breathe in the very love that is God. And on the next breath, this affirmation, I breathe in the very light that is God. I breathe in the very light that is God. Jesus said, you are the light of the world. He said that he was the light of the world. He said that we would take our light and place it in a central place in the room so it may light the whole room. So we are light bearers. We're light workers in this time in history, bringing light to every situation that we encounter. Our very essence, our very presence when we walk into a room exudes that light, and people are drawn to it, and they feel peaceful, they feel joyful, they become more alive and more alert and more enthusiastic about their life. I am the life, I am the love, I am the light that is God. Holding to those thoughts throughout the rest of our day, as those thoughts come to you, as a reminder of your true identity, we release this prayer knowing that it has done its perfect work in us and in the world. And we do so in the name and in the nature of the indwelling Christ. And so it is. So is this microphone on?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't hear myself. So when you came in, you received a small bag, and in the bag are 5, they're not really pearls, but I'm going to call them pearls, baby's pearls. 5 little stones to remind us of our talk today, which is entitled Unity's 5 Pearls of Great Price. So, a little church history. Sometimes in order to define who you are, you have to define who you're not. That's called apologetics. So, and when Constantine converted to Christianity and declared his nation to be a Christian nation, he brought together the Roman Catholic Church. He brought together the various factions of the church to try to explain who they were, because there were a lot of different teachings going on under the name of Christianity, and he wanted to consolidate those. So that's apologetics, when they come together to say this is who we are. You do that when you create a mission statement for your church and a vision statement for your church. So out of those meetings, he had several councils that he converged. One brought us the Nicene Creed, that you may have heard, or you might know the Apostles' Creed. And those are statements of faith, statements of belief that represents what the church stands for. Unity doesn't have a creed, and I hope that we never do, but we do have a set of teachings. And these teachings came about when Robert Ellsworth was head of the education department at Unity. He was my boss at the time when I worked there. And Robert started surveying Unity people, ministers and leaders and individuals across the nation, trying to get a flavor of what's emerging to the top as the things that we really value. And out of that came these 5 principles, or I'm calling them 5 pearls, because when we weave these together, they make a beautiful necklace around which we can build our faith. Now, in your bulletin, there is a page that actually gives you those 5 statements. My words will not be the same, and that's okay. Reverend Carol knows that. She said, "No, it's great." I said, "You do a good job of teaching that. Maybe I should change the topic." She said, "Oh, no, everybody takes a little bit different slant to this." So I think sometimes until we stop and think about it and compare it to what is going on in the world, we don't realize how dramatic and how different our belief systems are in unity. And the first one of those, most of your friends and relatives probably would disagree with you on, and I will state it in the way that I learned it, and that is there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God, the good, omnipotent. So what's unique about that is that most everybody that you know believes in duality. Duality is that belief in 2 powers. And these 2 powers are good and evil, or God and Satan. And these 2 powers are warring for your soul. And so right off the bat, we are extremely unique because unity believes that there's only good. There's only one power. There is a force in the universe that we call evil, and evil does exist. It's live, spelled backwards. Okay? And it exists because we've been given free will. So the things that you see us human beings do to one another that's destructive, and to ourselves that's destructive, is the result of living out of the ego state of mind. And in the erroneous belief, as I said last Sunday, that we're separate from one another and that we're separate from God. And all healing will come about when we recognize our oneness with each other and our oneness with God. So there is only one presence, not 2. There's only one power. There is no opposite to God. There can't be anything warring against God because they wouldn't win. If God isn't that God has power, God is power. It isn't that God has wisdom, God is all the wisdom in the world. So we in unity don't see God as a personality. This is not an ego that needs our praise. I was listening to radio traveling down from Nashville this morning, and this church was singing this beautiful praise song to Jesus. And I thought that was beautiful, but yet in unity, we don't believe that God needs us to praise God. God is not a personality, it's not a man, it's not a woman. It's a force, it's an entity in the universe that as we learn to cooperate with it, we can build our lives, co-create it with God to make it the best that we can possibly make it. So there's only one presence, one power that's active in the universe and in my life personally, God the good, omnipotent. So the second one, if that isn't disturbing enough to your friend, says that we are one. I am one with that presence and power. Again, most of the world will teach you, no, you're not. You're born in sin. They believe in original sin. We don't. We believe in original grace. We're all good. If we're made out of God's stuff, then we're good, right? And our nature is love. Our nature is good. We don't always behave that way, once again, because that ego personality part gets in there, and we want to have life our way on our terms and want to control people and circumstances. We can see a lot of that going on in the world, where there are people that are not acting out of their highest consciousness. And what we are about doing when we come together to study, for a classroom, or for a workshop, a seminar, or for this, is we're here to raise ourselves up in consciousness. And consciousness is a state of mind. Actually, Paul said, let this mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. He's not talking about his brain, he's talking about his consciousness. Let the consciousness of the Christ be yours. So our goal here is for each one of us to take responsibility, because nobody else can do it but you, to raise ourselves up to the Christ consciousness. And that way we are truly one with the Christ. And again, that Jesus, the last name of Jesus is not Christ. Christ is actually a title that is given to somebody, like it may be Buddha. There's Buddha consciousness, there's Christ consciousness. So we can declare that I am the Christ. There's a wonderful little book called 3 Magic Words, and I did a message on it back in California. And I tried to milk it out as long as I could before I finally told them what the 3 words are. But the 3 most powerful words in the universe are, I am God. I am God. And that may sound like heresy to you. I had a religious science minister friend of mine that I love, and I'd go hear him speak in Nashville, and he told about going to the YMCA to work out one day, and usually, and you don't let people know what you do necessarily, but he said something about being a minister in science of mind, or religious science. And the guy in there with him said, oh, you those people that believe that you're God. He said, yes, yes, and that you are God too. So if we're all divine beings walking around trying to live out of that divinity, then we're here to help each other to raise the consciousness of the planet, which is why I like the globe. I think that's a great idea to pass that around to remind ourselves this isn't just about us. It's about raising everybody up. And we do that as we sing at the end of most services, the peace song. One person, it begins with me. I can't do anything to anybody else except be the very thing that I think they might want to emulate. So we change the world one person at a time, beginning with ourselves. So the person is what? Only one presence.
One power, one presence.
One power. Active in the universe and in the light. God, the good, the essence of the good, and I am one with this power and presence. So the third part is that we connect to this power through prayer and meditation. As Reverend Carroll says, prayer has been and still is at the heart of unity. On an average day, I think they averaged it out, there's almost 4,000 phone calls that come in a sign of unity every day. On an average, that's a lot of people. And I can imagine with all the events in France and the other events that are taking place, that a lot of people are feeling the need to center themselves in unity and to pray. If you've never called, it's 1-800-NOW-PRAY. It's a free call. And they'll pray with you. They won't counsel you. They don't even give you their name. They'll just pray with you. They may ask, would you like to have a copy of that prayer? So they'll mail it to you. They're totally supportive of a love offering. They're never charged for prayer. And the prayer ministry generally supports the rest of the ministries in unity because people are so blessed. And so most people that call don't know anything about unity as a church. They don't know that we have churches. We haven't had an emphasis on church over the year. We only have about 600 nationwide, including Hawaii and Alaska. So that our emphasis has been on individual growth, not building churches or building spiritual communities. And I think Charles Wesley, Uncle Charlie Fillmore was hesitant to actually send ministers out. But study groups, there's a lot of churches started study groups, meet in homes, and then they wanted to say, can you send us a teacher? So eventually they began to ordain ministers. And so we do have our churches. Most of them are less than 100. We have a couple of mega churches up in Detroit, Michigan, and down in Dallas, Texas, that's around 7,000. So we connect with God by making sure that not only at church, but in our private time, we go to the silence. The silence is that place where we connect with that wisdom. And everything that we need to know, we already know. It's inside of us. We keep looking for the cause of our problems to come from outside of us, which isn't true. We keep looking for the solution to our problems to come from outside of us, which isn't true. Eventually, we have to take that one journey that most of us hesitate to take, and that's the journey inside. And that journey inside is a scary place to go, because we don't always love ourselves. We don't always like ourselves. We have shadow parts to us. And we beat ourselves up a lot because we don't want to be our own companions. And yet, in the long run, that's where the well of life lives, is within that space. One presence is one power. You're one with it. You connect with it through prayer. You learn in unity that your thoughts are creative. Every word sends out a vibration. And so if you think a thought, it has a vibration. That's been proved through quantum physics. They have demonstrated that the smallest known thing to man is a quartz. And studying the quartz to see how it would move under a microscope, they began to realize that the observer of the quartz was actually determining where it went. So that's how powerful just our thoughts are. But if we add our words to the thoughts, it gives us even more, because you're able to hear me because my vocal cords are vibrating, air is going across them and it's sending out a sound. You're able to hear that because you have a receptor for that. The eardrum, but also even the hairs inside of your ears are part of helping you to hear that. So everything vibrates. I think we demonstrated that last week when I did the little electrical charge thing, that we have energy fields around us. Don't we ever had anybody take a picture of you so you can see your aura? But you have that energy field around you. And your words and your thoughts and that energy goes before you, attracting to you the right and perfect people and circumstances for your well-being. Now, those are four things, right? One God, we're one with the God, we connect with God through prayer, our thoughts create. And then finally, the fifth one is sort of almost nonsensical, except it's a reminder that this is a practice, this is a way of life. And it's that it isn't enough to know these first four things, we must live them. So in the old days, we had a name or a little catchphrase that unity was practical Christianity, which meant that we weren't interested in theory, we were interested in practice. And your job here, in fact, in some of the other New Thought churches, they're called practitioners. These are people that study and they want to practice and teach and be of help to people. We have licensed unity teachers, but all of us are here to practice these teachings. And in the early days, we would say to people, look, here are our 5 teachings. Take what you can say yes to now and what you can't say yes to, just set it aside, because we're not trying to convert you. We don't want you to memorize these and say, I'm back to it like you graduated. We want you to live them. Because it's in the living that the proof is. That then we're able to demonstrate. And a long time ago, back in this, when Unity School first started, in order for a person to become a licensed Unity teacher, they actually had to prove, they had to demonstrate their ability to heal. Because healing was very much a part of what the Unity movement has been and still is today. But it's the daily living, almost think of yourself as a saint or as a monk or as a nun who's living a devotional life that only you know about. Because we don't put it on our shoulder to be seen of men. We don't try to stand on the street corner, so to speak, and try to say that our way is the only way. In fact, Unity says that all paths lead to God. So you'll notice we never put down another congregation, another belief system, no matter what it is, because they all lead to that one source. And so we live in harmony with all the other denominations. We live in harmony with people regardless of their personal choices, and we love them because we're able to look, as Jesus said, look beyond the outer appearances of things to the right way of looking at somebody, which is who they are, the nature of who they truly are. So when we say to our children, we behold the Christ in you, we do, okay? And when we say that to one another, we say namaste. Namaste simply means the divine in me sees, recognizes, and salutes the divine in you. And as we do that, not only here, but wherever we go, we're spreading a message that will elevate a person's life if they're willing to say that they want to try these teachings. Most of the counseling that I do comes to me from people who no longer practice. I will ask them, they would say, well, things aren't working. I said, but when did they stop working? And that's like I'm not quoting exactly, there's one of these great gurus that sometimes you go to, one of the Native Americans, and you ask, you want some counsel from the wise man, and he would ask you some questions. I'm not going to remember all four, but one of them is, when did you stop dancing? When did you stop singing? When did you stop believing in the story? You can go back to those places in your life and say, oh, that's where I went in the wrong direction. I need to get back to that. So quite often in Unity, I will say, when did this down part spiral in your life come about? And they would say, well, it's when I stopped studying. It's when I stopped meditating. Stopped going to church or stopped going to a class. Because we need that support system to encourage us. It's so easy sometimes to feel very alone in life and not able to make it. So 5 great pearls, when strung together, can make a beautiful necklace. And you have 5 to remind you of those 5. And whatever words you use, make them up for yourself. What I shared with you is just the ones that I memorized. And they're in your bulletin. You want to take that home and put it on the refrigerator by your computer. And I apologize for sitting down. I had a little thing that happens to me occasionally with food and stomach viruses and what have you. So I'm hoarse today. And probably will scoot home and go back to bed. I've enjoyed my time with you, and I'm going to be telling you a little bit later about some ways that you can sort of take me home with you, if you want to. I will be going to California for 2 weeks. I speak at the Unity Church in Carlsbad, but primarily I'm going to go play on the beach. And I will go to Palm Springs for one visit. And then when I return, I speak at the Unity of Murfreesboro. Coach Judy said, I hope you haven't heard this talk before. And if you want this talk, it's on CD back there. Because it wouldn't come out exactly the same. Then I speak every single Sunday until the end of June at Unity of Murfreesboro, while they go through the process of deciding about an interim minister, what to do. So I won't be able to come back, but you always greet me with great hospitality and warm hugs. And I love you very much. We'll hope to find another way that we can share. Thank you. Namaste. God bless you.
Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and stand and sing, I am the thinker that thinks the thoughts, that changes things that shape my life. I have the power to change my life. Very apropos, don't you think? It always works out. And the words will be up here. Great, okay. I am the thinker that thinks the thoughts, that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thoughts, I have the power to change my life. Again. I am the thinker that thinks the thoughts, that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thoughts, I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me
Mr. Dale. What a dynamic duo.
And I want to say something. You know, sometimes people say, oh, I can't get up there and be the platform person, or I can't do this because I might make a mistake. You know, we all do that, and it's fine, and we love each other. And, you know, so try it out. Step outside of your comfort zone. Join the rest of us who fumble every once in a while.
Thank you, Reverend Carol, by the way.
There's a song leader you can.
And anyone who would like to do the platform, I want to take a minute and just, it's hard to put into words, but doing platform, one will find, you might have, of course, maybe a few butterflies or be a little nervous, but once you get up, it's just a profound experience, a blessing, and a joy. And yes, a responsibility, but so well worth it. So if any of you would be interested in having this wonderful experience, please see me, because I will be glad to help you. Now, we come to our prosperity blessing. Another dynamic duo in the company, Mr. and Mrs. Carroll. All right, let us say our prosperity blessing. The inexhaustible resource of spirit is equal to every demand. There is no reality in lack. Abundance is here and now manifest.
Because I believe in love, I give. Because I believe in love, I give. Because I believe in love, and love is given to me. I give because I believe in joy.
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Lovingly I give, and lovingly I receive. And now we come to the announcements, and once again, it's wonderful to have you all here with us at Unity. And please go forth and pour into our precious holiday period, and let us remember the true spirit of this time. God bless you all. And Reverend Ray would like to.
Thank you. I brought 3 CDs. One is called I Am Worthy, and it's a CD that is husband and wife, male and female, repeating certain phrases about being worthy of beauty, being worthy of traveling, just the whole. Most of us don't receive very good because at some level we sabotage it because we don't think we are deserving. And this is something you play in your car. It's not designed to put you to sleep, and you can listen to a little bit of it or all of it. It's not something you have to listen to the whole thing. Even 5 minutes of it perks up my day. So I've got a whole bunch of those. They're $5 each. Make a good gift, by the way, if you have a family member or friend that you'd like to be an encourager to. The second one is actually this talk that I gave today, the 5 Pearls of Unity, and that was recorded at Unity of Nashville when I spoke there last fall. So that's there on the table is on the right. And then the big one is a 2-set volume called Keep a True Lent, based on Charles Pillsmore's book by the same name, who will be coming upon Lent here fairly soon. And there's 4 talks on that one. So the first 2 I mentioned are $5 each. That one is 10. There's a basket there to receive, so whatever you want to do. If I run out, let me know and I'll go replenish it, but one way to take you with me.
I
Yeah.
want to mention, a lot of times people say, what do I tell people when they ask me about unity? That 5 pearls of unity would be a great
It is.
uh, thing to give people very clear, this is the essence of the whole thing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Wiggins. Sounds wonderful. Reverend Carol, did you have any announcements?
Well, actually, I do, but this is a put it on your calendar announcement. So coming up pretty quick is the Sunday before Christmas. So we will have 2 services. Sunday morning will be our usual Sunday morning service, but then at 6 o'clock Sunday evening we will have a candle service. So really nice, really lovely. So put it on your calendar. Great time to bring friends and kind of demonstrate this wonderful feeling that we have here, and it'll be beautiful with candlelight. So the 20th.
Oh, that
Is there
sounds
anything else I
wonderful.
need to keep in mind? Oh, I do. I have one other, and it's hanging out there. So next Saturday, Saturday the 5th, there's going to be a craft fair at Montesano Methodist Church, and yours truly will have a table there. So I'm encouraging everybody to come.
Is that the one with the
The labyrinth?
labyrinth?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so if you've been to the labyrinth up there, it's a beautiful church anyway.
It's
You
a
walk
beautiful
out
church.
there.
And actually, the fellowship hall in the area where the craft fair will be is inside the big main sanctuary. So they will have special music going on in the sanctuary. And if you've never seen it, it's only 2 or 3 years old, or maybe 5 years old now, but rock and wood and glass. So it's a great vision for a unity church.
Yeah.
Where you literally be up on the mountain.
Yes. David, do you have any announcement?
None that I can think of right off, thank you.
Anyone else?
Youth group does pick back up this Thursday. We'll be meeting Thursday. I'm still trying to figure, just meet me in the lobby. If we're not upstairs, we're down there. I'm so confused on what we're doing Thursday night, but we're gonna meet here in the building somewhere. So we'll have snacks, so it's 10 and up, and then we're gonna still confirm and we'll lock in on Thursday rather, what we're gonna do for our next youth event. So it's either gonna be going to the Tinsel Trail and ice skating, or to Salmon Village, just for fun.
It sounds
There's a lot of people haven't been, it's a lot of fun.
wonderful.
Cheaper to
Yeah,
get as a family.
Tinsel Trail is,
Yeah. I like that one.
Since Lucy is here, so thank you for reminding what's going on here Thursday night, is Dr. Will Tuttle is going to be presenting a talk to the Vegan Society. So if you're vegan or have interest in that, and he's really an amazing speaker. So the information is out there. I think there is a fee. I don't remember what it is. But again, it's hanging out there. So that's what's happening here on Thursday night. And because there's something going on here Thursday night, maybe the following Thursday night, anybody who'd like to come and help the youth group decorate for Christmas, would that work out?
By the way, we're decorating for Christmas, guys. So we'll do that during our youth meeting.
Yeah, since we can't do it this Thursday.
We'll do it next Thursday.
We don't get a lot
By
of
the
help
way.
on Sunday, so.
The kids are great, they're really good about it.
they'll enjoy it.
So then, in other words, so we will meet downstairs, that room down underneath, we'll still have snacks and drinks, and last week I just brought pizza, so who knows what I'll bring this week.
So lots of announcements. The 18th, we're going to be painting down there. So that Saturday, the 18th, we're going to be putting on the first coat of primer on there. So we don't need lots of people, but we do need people, maybe some that can come in shifts, so we can get that all done maybe in one day and get ready to really decorate.
Yes. Well, that's it. All right. So, let us have our peace song.
Stand up and we'll close our service. Let's
And let us now say our wonderful prayer of protection.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God